In today's video, we are going to look at how to use additional tools to select or draw with. And so we need a new file, and we will call this additional tools. My dimensions are 7 by 5, resolution 300, that sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and create this file. And the first tool we're going to look at is a marquee tool and how to add and subtract. And basically this is a selection tool. And so our marquee tool, we have different marquees. With a click and a drag, I can change what type of marquee and the shape. I can also draw a circle with it. Now, if I wanted to add another selection, what I can do is press the Shift key, and I can add, and so it grows all on the outside, the stuff that I've added. And so it all becomes together. And what I mean by selection is if, I call them dancing ants. So this area is selected, which means if I go ahead and try to draw in this area, I'm going to change my brush to normal. So if I brush, the only thing that will color is the selected area. So it means that it's just, that is the only area that is selected. So that's what I mean by selection. So I'm going to go ahead, we can add with other marquee tools. So I can again add different ways and add again. And we can also subtract. So if we hold down the Alt Option key, you can take away different parts, or on the inside of items, we can take away. And so what I have selected using the marquee tool, so inside of the dancing ants, to show what is selected, it's just those areas. And so again, you can create all different interesting shapes using the marquee tool. To add a non-circle or a rectangle and you want more of a free flow with it, you can also use the lasso tool and holding down the Shift key, because I'm going to add to this selection, is I can draw an organic shape to add to those. And I can do the same thing with the subtract, so I can draw and select different things. And again, you have to draw, you have to start and end at the same point to create a complete shape. And so that's using the lasso tool. And there's organic lasso, polygonal, we'll do straight lines as well. So we have our lasso tools. Now, if I wanted to create a line for this, I can use what's called the stroke tool, and that is through Edit, and then stroke. The pixel width, 1 pixel is very tiny, so to be able to see this, I'm going to do a 10 pixel width and press OK, and it went ahead and did an outline for us. If the selection goes away and I want to fill in, so now that I don't have the dancing ants, now watch, I'm able to fill in everything and say I want to color that area in. How do I find it again? Now you can go ahead and use the magic wand to also select a certain area. So if the magic wand is in here, so it's called the magic wand tool, it looks like a wand, and the magic wand tool will select solid color. And so white would be a solid color. I can go ahead and select the outside. I can select the inside. And so what that is looking at is if I am coloring it in. Now again, do you see how I am just coloring this selection? Now there's also a cool button called Invert Selection where I can now select everything that is not already selected. And that is done by using Shift, Command I, and now what is selected, I'm going to choose a different color so we can see, is everything on the outside. And so you can see that. That is selected. So Shift Command I we'll now change the selection again. So now I'm in my selection again. So that's how to invert a selection. Now we've already been using the brush tool, but I want to show you some different things that you can also use. One thing is to change the brush size. If you use the bracket keys next to the P button, you could go ahead and increase or decrease the brush size, and you can see it firsthand. And so I can make it really big and kind of shade around the edges. There's also different types of brush, so you can change what type of brush stroke that you have, and there's also very interesting brushes over here, like the stars or grass, leaves, and we can go ahead and increase. We can go ahead and put leaves as our brush tool. I could invert the selection and put the leaves on the outside and around. And the leaf colors are the mixed 2B colors of our foreground and our background color. So those are really cool, interesting tools that we have available. Some grass. So really quickly adding some grass into our picture. So those are some things with the brush tool. And again, you can change the mode. The mode we want to use most is our normal. And then opacity is how see-through or not. And flow is the how much of the brush is coming out at one time. And now I want to show you the gradient tool. So I'm actually going to add another layer in the layer channel so that we can I can show you how it can go on top. So I'm going to do a layer. So now I have my background and then the layer on top. If I press Command D to deselect, so I no longer have a selection, now I'm working with the paper on top of the image I've already drawn. And the gradient tool is really nice. So our gradient tool is here. And the first two are a mix between the colors chosen, but I can also select other color options. And by clicking and dragging in the direction, it will go ahead and apply the gradient in the direction that I've shaded. Different other things in the mode are different types of gradient. So you can change those looks like that. If you have the transparent one, so it fades into transparent, you can actually make several layers of the gradient, which looks kind of interesting. We have that. And now that's how the gradient is used. I'm going to go ahead and put one across. And now I have this interesting design, and so using opacity again, you can create different layers that you can kind of partially see through. So it just adds like a haze picture over it. So you can kind of really be creative on color and subject by using layers with opacity. And that's all for today and our additional tools. Hope you enjoy.